G'day everybody, I'm Ben Heffernan and today I'd like to finish this final stage of this particular portrait abstract painting. Now just a quick recap here, you'll see that I did a sketch, then I switched out to my fine liner, and once I was happy with my composition, it was time to break out my beloved acrylic paints. And as you can see there, I'm back to the cheap $4.50 pack from Kmart, my little blister pack of paints. And I just love doing this because I can prove to people that they can hone their skills without having a big budget and having to go and buy all these expensive paints. If you really want to just get started, just go out and get these cheap blister packs of acrylics or oils or watercolors, whatever you're into, and please don't feel that you have to spend a lot of money on the latest and greatest. Just get yourself started with as cheap a budget as you possibly can. Yes, once you get more skillful and you start taking on commissions and you're selling your artwork, then yes, Schminky, you want to get Matisse, you want to get Golden, and all these other beautiful brands out there that really do offer that next level of quality. But to get started, again, I can't say it enough. You only need to just get your brush wet with the cheapest paints you can, and believe me, you'll probably learn more with the cheaper paints because you do have to work a little harder because they do need a little more layering, they will need a little bit more attention as opposed to the more expensive paints. But believe me, it is just not worth going out there spending hundreds of dollars on all these beautiful, really good brands when you can get the same result and the same learning as a beginner with these cheaper packs. Okay, enough said on that. Now you'll see that here I'm just softening that face. I have had a lot of those darker colours for the shades as I was doing the intermediate stage, even the blocking in stage. And now that I'm coming to this more detailed stage where I really want to focus on her face with that detail, I still want all that messy, beautiful abstract texture feel for her hair and the outsides, but for her face in particular, I really want to start to work on that detail. That's why I'm softening the face, and now I'm switching out to my number one round brush or detail brush, and there I can start to get those real fine details for around her eyes, her lips, and around her nose. Now for her eyes and around her cheekbones and all of that blue shading, that was a cerulean blue, even for her hair. So it's only been cerulean blue all the way through this painting. And also I'm just using a lamp black for her detail around her eyes, and that you'll see that I'm even using some cerulean blue around the coloured part of her eye, the iris I think it is. And yep, just to be sure, I did double check with Google and it is indeed the iris. And I really don't have a lot to say as to where to hold your brush. If you want to really strangle the brush and get right down for fine detail and your head right over the artwork, that's fine, go ahead and do that. There's a lot of people that will say, you know, hold the back end of the brush. Really, I think it's just where you find it most comfortable. Here I'm just adding a little titanium white for the highlights of her eyes, and I even use a little cerulean blue for her eyelashes. Okay, so I'm going to try a little something different here. I have had this painting around my studio for quite some time. I've lugged it between Broken Hill and Mildura, always saying I'm going to get back to it. Finally I have, but in that time, the face has really brought about a story. There's something about this lady. She's been jilted by love. She's got this hard exterior, yet quite beautiful. So I decided to incorporate ChatGPT and ask it with this prompt that I'm about to tell you to create a story around this particular painting. So in order to use ChatGPT to its full extent, you really have to tell it a really good prompt. So the prompt I gave it was quite detailed. So here's the prompt that I actually asked ChatGPT to create a story around this painting for. Please write for me roughly 300-word story of my painting called The Ice Queen. She has been jilted by the ones closest to her, which has given her a hard exterior. Although very attractive, she gives off a standoffish demeanour, making people feel lesser around her. This is not what she wants, and really on the inside, she is soft, caring and loving. But she has been conditioned to tread very lightly with her feelings, as she's been hurt by letting in what loved ones that have left her high and dry. Will she be able to let her defences down to allow love back into her life? Let's see. So that's the prompt I gave ChatGPT, which is an AI bot, or I guess some sort of artificial intelligence, to write this story around. So the first story it came up with was this one, which is not too bad. In the realm of Frostvale, where snow never ceased and the air was perpetually crisp, ruled the Ice Queen. Her beauty was unparalleled, her face a flawless canvas of alabaster. Oh, I like that, alabaster. Her eyes a striking blue that seemed to pierce through one's very soul. Yet there was a chill about her, a palpable aura of isolation that kept others at a distance. This was not by choice, but by necessity, born from a heart hardened by betrayal. Once she had been open, warm and trusting. She loved deeply and was loved in return, or so she believed. But the ones closest to her, those who held her dearest, had jilted her cruelly. Their abandonment was a wound that festered, turning her tender heart to ice. Now she wore her regal aloftness like armour, her standoffish demeanour a shield against further pain. Those who approached her made to feel lesser, unworthy of her time and affection, though this was not her intent. Inside, the Ice Queen yearned for connection. She longed to be understood, to be seen for who she truly was beneath the frosty exterior, a woman of kindness, compassion, and deep love. But she was cautious, each interaction carefully measured, each step forward hesitant and laden with doubt. She feared the vulnerability that came with opening her heart again, the risk of being left shattered once more. One day, a wandering minstrel, minstrel of course, not a tall, dark, handsome stranger. Anyway, a wandering minstrel arrived in Frostvale, his songs warm and inviting, a stark contrast to the cold kingdom. His music spoke of love, loss and redemption, touching a part of the Ice Queen she had long buried. Intrigued yet very wary, she allowed him to stay, listening to his melodies from a safe distance. Gradually, the minstrel's presence began to thaw the icy walls she had built. His sincerity and gentleness were a balm to her wounded soul. He did not rush her, nor did he seek to change her, but simply offered his company and understanding. As the days turned into weeks, the Ice Queen found herself smiling more, her heart softening bit by bit. She began to see that perhaps, just perhaps, she could let her defences down. The possibility of love was frightening, but the thought of remaining forever isolated was even more so. In the end, the Ice Queen took a leap of faith. She allowed herself to be vulnerable, to trust in the minstrel's love and her own strength to endure whatever came. It was not an easy journey, but it was a hopeful one. For the first time in a long time, the Ice Queen felt warmth in her heart, a flicker of hope that love, true and steadfast, might be within her grasp once more. So that was that one. That's the first one. The second one's very similar. I think I've got enough time, to do another one. So I gave it pretty much the same prompt, but in this one I just pretty much narrowed it down to one man, and he jilted her for another queen, believe it or not, in another far off kingdom. So let's get stuck straight into that one. In the kingdom of Glacier, the Ice Queen reigned supreme. Her beauty was a marvel, with skin as pure as the first snowfall and eyes as sharp and as clear as ice. But beneath her regal exterior lay a heart that had been wounded deeply. Once she had known love, a passionate, all-encompassing love that she believed was reciprocated with equal fervour. She married her first love, a man she thought shared her dreams and desires. However, her joy was short-lived. Her husband had never loved her as she loved him. He had married her for status, using her to further his own reach and power. When his ambitions led to a new queen in a distant land, he left her without a backward glance. Oh, that rotten mongrel. But anyway, left her without a backward glance, abandoning her to the icy confines of her now empty palace. His betrayal transformed her once warm heart into a fortress of frost. Her trust shattered like the delicate ice underfoot. The pain of this abandonment hardened her exterior, creating a formidable standoffish demeanour. She became the Ice Queen, not only in title, but in spirit. Those who approached her felt diminished, as if they could never match her cold, unapproachable beauty. This was not her intention, but rather a defence mechanism forged in the fires of her heartbreak. Yet beneath the frigid facade, the Ice Queen remained a woman of deep compassion and kindness. She longed to love and be loved, but the scars of her past made her wary. She treaded lightly, guarding her emotions carefully to avoid being hurt again. One day, oh here we go, here's the love interest. One day a gentle healer arrived in Glacier. He was humble and patient, his presence a soft warmth in the cold kingdom. He saw beyond the Ice Queen's chilly exterior to the tender heart within. He offered her friendship without expectation. This is good. Hang on, it's starting to get me a bit teary. Oh dear, where was I? Now, friendship without expectation, slowly melting the ice that encased her heart with his steady kindness. As the healer spent more time in her presence, the Ice Queen found herself drawn to him. His sincerity was a stark contrast to the deceit she had known before. Tentatively, she began to open up, allowing herself to feel again. It was a frightening process, each step forward filled with uncertainty and fear. But with each passing day, the Ice Queen's defences lowered. She realised that while her past had been marred by betrayal, it did not have to dictate her future. Oh, that's good. I like that. Trusting in the healer's unwavering support, she dared to hope that love could once again find its way into her heart. In the end, the Ice Queen took a courageous leap of faith. She allowed herself to be vulnerable, embracing the possibility of love and the warmth it could bring. Her journey was far from easy, but it was one of healing and rediscovery. For the first time in a long while, the Ice Queen felt a flicker of warmth in her heart, a sign that perhaps, just perhaps, she could find happiness and love once more. Wow, there we go, hey? Just shows that I'm a hopeless romantic when it comes down to it. But having said that, I really love the story that accompanies this particular painting. As you have these artworks around your studio, you'll start to get really, really attached to them. Even with the commission, some of the people's pets and other things that I paint, really you find you have a real spiritual connection to them. Once you get into this art realm, it's really something else. Now, just to the technical side of things for a minute there, I have painted this onto a piece of paper, which was at least 180 GSM. The GSM just stands for grams per square metre, and that's really just the technical term or the shortened down abbreviation for how thick you want your paper or canvas. And I would not suggest painting on any less than at least 180 GSM. And even with these really cheap paints, you can see that nice sheen there of this beautiful acrylic paint, and I have admittedly really caked it on, especially with my little plastic spatula there or palette knife, which does allow me to get a nice textured feel to this particular painting and style. And it is a figurative abstract, but having said that, I also like to incorporate a little realism as well. So I hope you enjoyed the little stories that accompanied this particular painting. I think it needed something like that, and please leave a comment and let me know what you thought.